Get up, get on up, get up, stay on the scene like a loving machine. Get up, get up, stay on the scene like a sex machine. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get on up, get up, get up. Yeah, this might be over with, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be over with. This might be over with. Not even might be. It's full blown over with. You know what? This is gonna be a relatively shorter live stream. We're gonna stay around that 30 to 35 minute cap. But I was thinking of something interesting about this game, especially in terms of the officiating that these teams also hate and also don't appreciate. Before we dive into the game review, if the refing is inconsistently consistent, are why do the I just here's what I don't understand, right? These coaches have enough leeway to say, ref, you got to let him play. Let's say the foul happens. Let's say the foul happens in favor of the team, right? And it was barely a foul. It was maybe a brush screen or something like that. The coaches always shut up. The coaches always shut up when they get the favor, but they're quiet, like they're super loud when the foul's against them, right? I find that a little weird. If you're going to be against the bad officiating and the bad refereeing, if you will, then why aren't you saying the same exact things for when it doesn't happen on your team? Now, I'm not saying you have to be super loud about it because then that would kind of look weird, right? But if you're going to stand on business, you got to stand on business. You can't change just because your team is now favored. So if a bad foul happens against if a bad foul happens against sorry, if a bad foul happens against your team, like I was saying, if a foul happens against your team, you don't have to go down the court saying, "Yo, no, that wasn't a foul. That wasn't a foul, ref. You're doing too much. Why are you calling the foul on the opposing team?" You don't have to run down the court, screaming that. But you can have the ref come down the other side of the court and be like, "Ref, you got it. You can't be calling that." You could whisper it, do the Becky Hammond and be like, "Ref, you can't be calling that." Right? So that way you're not really putting yourself out there as if you're caping for the other team, but you could be like, "Ref, you can't be doing that. You let the players play." I'm not saying that some of these coaches don't do that, but I'm not really for all the piling on the bad officiating when the calls don't go your way. Sure, certain calls are going to be missed. I'm not saying you can't complain about calls, but if both sides we're just in this back and forth of, "Oh, that was a bad call. This team's annoyed because of this call, and this team's annoyed at this call," and then we're both going to say the officiating is bad. If the officiating is inconsistently consistent, then I need to see more of these teams or more of these coaches, coaching staff, whatever, call it out on both sides then. Because if both teams are getting hold by the same thing, you can equal out the game just by your coaching. If you're going to complain about it, don't shut up when it happens to the other team, because now you can create the stable game environment that you want to see in the game. But the problem is every time something happens where it's almost like a ticky-tack foul and it happens in favor of the team, the coaching staff or the coach wants to be quiet then. Why? That's the time to speak up about it and say, "Hey, like, ref, if you called that on my player on the other side of the floor, I'd be pissed too." So that's how you level the game. That's how you keep the game stable without looking like, oh, you don't care about your team or you don't appreciate the advantage that you just got. If you're going to have this value, or one of your values is hopefully you get good consistent officiating, then I feel like more coaches should be doing that. More head coaches should be doing that. Stop pulling this Sandy Brondello type issue where you want to cry about officiating, but when it happens to the other team, you have nothing to say. At least say something. Again, I'm not saying you have to yell about it, but at least say something. Anyways, guys, welcome to the stream. It is 11:38 here Eastern Standard Time, so probably about 8 o'clock, 8:30 Western Conference time. Las Vegas defeats the Aces. I don't have the final score up because laptop moving slow, whatever. But I will be pulling up stream whenever this laptop decides to work with me. Aces, damn, I don't even remember the final score. Aces won by two. Oh, sorry, 90 to 88 on a game winning go ahead shot by Asia Wilson with point 0.3 seconds left on the clock. I don't think that shot by Dewana Bonner would have counted at the end because she kind of double pumped it. I feel like with point 0.3 you kind of have to just catch the ball and just that redirect it towards the hoop. So I don't know if that would have counted if it went in anyway. It would have been very close. And yeah, it would have been very close. I won't say that. I won't say what I was just about to say, but I don't think it would have counted with point 0.3 seconds. Double clutching with point 0.3 seconds is not going to count. By the time you finish double clutching, the clock is off, which is what it was. So I don't think that would have counted anyway if it went in. Aces, I don't. I'll take a pacing Aces team, a team that's up three, up two, even though they did blow, what was it? Damn near 18-point lead or whatever. I'll take a pacing Aces team to close out that game. I was a little worried that Phoenix would probably get back into the game, make it a close game, especially when they were in the bonus, I think with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter as they were walking down the Aces. So I thought that could have been a clear advantage to the Mercury. They didn't really, move on top of that. Kalia Copper tried to get active in the second half. I'd say it's a too little too late. You can't have two players like a Kalia Copper and a Satu Sabli just both being inconsistent. Now, Satu Sabli wasn't necessarily having a bad game. I believe she scored 13 points in the first quarter. Wasn't necessarily having a bad game, but the problem is it almost seems rare that Kalia Copper and Satu Sabli are both on consistently. They're both like Pistons. One up, one's having a good game, one's up, one's down, having a bad game. And then they switch. One's having a good game, one's having a bad game. You just need a little bit more consistency from these star players. And as we talked about in the last live stream, if the big three would just show up for Phoenix, they'd probably be the games have been close already. But outside of maybe no. Game 2 was lack. Game 1, how did Satu play in game 1 again? I think she. I'm forgetting Satu's game 1 stats. She had something like 19, but wasn't she 7 of 18, or am I confusing that with game 2? I want to say she was playing pretty well in game 1, or decently in game 1. She had a bad first half, I think a good second half, right? That was game 1, right? I'll pull that up. I'll look at that later. Excuse me. But yeah, if like we said in the earlier streams, if the Mercury if their big three shows up, they will have a chance to compete because they're front court heavy, and that can, as you can see, they put a lot of pressure on the Aces. When the Aces take their foot off the gas, that's what happens. Obviously, they're dealing with foul trouble. Dana Evans had 5 fouls. Dana Evans' last foul, a lot of the one track in this game's officiating was just that the officials were calling really like, we're in the finals. Swallow your whistle. Just swallow your whistle. Some of these fouls don't need to be called. You're calling ticky-tack fouls in the finals. Some of them were valid, sure, but geez Louise, these good golly Miss Molly, these refs, man. Just Dana did piss me off with her last foul. And I really thought Becky Hammon wouldn't allow that foul trouble to dictate how she coaches. But again, she leaves Nalissa Smith on the bench with 5 fouls and plays Megan I have no ankles Gustafson and almost gets the game taken from her because she decides to do that same ish. If you're going to play Dana Evans with the 5 fouls, play Nalissa Smith. You needed a Nalissa Smith. And Nalissa Smith was actually providing the Aces with some good minutes. Megan Gustafson played for 4 minutes and was getting cooked the entire time. Passing the ball, turnover the ball. Kirsten Bell, I can tell by the way she's still tweeting in the finals that you not really locked in anywhere. It doesn't surprise me that Kirsten Bell is tweeting in the final. You can always tell the player that's not hooping and knows they're not hooping because their social media presence is heavy. For the players that are actually hooping or actually focused on some ish, not saying that they're not on social media, but their presence isn't that active. They're not as active on social media. I see Kirsten Bell still tweeting. One, I find it weird that players are on social media in the playoffs in general, but in the finals is crazy to me. In the finals, to me, I just feel like I'd want to detach. Get me a book, get me film for the games. I just feel like I'd be so locked in on film, I really wouldn't care. I'd be film, shoot around, talk to my team, see what we can fix. I don't get how these players are on social media. Like, in the playoffs, okay, cool, reprieve. You're in the playoffs, you're moving, whatnot. In the finals, to be on social media is still crazy. It's kind of crazy to me. Burner account or no burner account, I just feel like it's the finals. This is what you're playing for. Hell, I know your bonuses aren't that big yet, but damn laptop. You hear how old it is? I know the bonuses aren't that big yet, but you can also you're hooping for something, man. You're hooping for you can stamp an accolade onto your resume, especially onto your professional basketball resume that could possibly keep you in the WNBA. I don't know if we've been paying attention to these recent draft classes, but it's been actually went through the draft classes from the last 4 years, and it's really spotty. There actually is no consistency, even with some of the first round picks and some of the lotto picks to make a team. There are some players that went second round. There are some players that went third round that are still in the WNBA right now, and a lot of those players are out of it. I think, what class was I looking at? Maybe 2022. There were 7 players, I believe, out of the 36 drafted that were still in the W. I think it was 2022. My number might be a little bit off, but there were 7 players, and they were all spread out around the different draft picks. So I'm just like, this is a chance. This is I know it might not seem like much because we definitely, I guess, the media in a way, or maybe the sports culture in a way, women's sports culture in a way, doesn't treat it like much, or it might not seem like a big moment. I don't know. Because I don't want to say that knowing that this is a big moment for some of the players, that some of the players do understand the gravity of the situation and do understand how to be present and stay in this moment. But for other players, I just feel like it might just seem like another day, but it's like, nah, bro, you in the finals, bro. Lock in. I don't know. That's just me. I feel like if I was a coach, I wouldn't. I'd limit social media time. Hey, 1 hour, get off. Hypnotize yourself for 1 hour, get off. Go read a book. Go get the antithesis of a phone. Go read a book. Go look at film. Go play a game. Go for a walk. 1 hour social media, get off. In the finals, oh, you log out of everything. Log out of your email. I don't care what you on. Glowing Matt, what's goody? I see your comments. Just a little, post game rant before we dive deeper into the game. I did watch most of the game. I missed the early fourth quarter, so I did miss Jewel Lloyd's threes, 4 threes. Glowing Matt, do you see the sweep happening? Yeah, especially with no Satu Sabali, yes. Why did you drop this comment? Let me check the timing of this. Okay. Do I see the sweep happening? Yes. Again, to answer this, yes. I do see the sweep happening because no Satu. No Satu is tough. We'll talk about her injury a little later, but yeah, no Satu, which is weird enough because Phoenix started making a comeback after she left. So I don't know. Maybe it was the lull in the game, lack of momentum, whatever. The sweep could happen. It could happen just as much as it might not happen. Who says Aces don't drop a game? I think if the Aces actually come out there and don't try, it will be super evident. And I'd probably lose a little respect for them if they try to do this win at home type BS. I'd actually lose a lot of respect for them. So I do think I think Asia will keep them on track. I think Asia and Chelsea Gray they'll keep them on track. Be like, hey, yo, no, we're here to win this. We're here to win this. And this is what we're gonna do. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. So I think Asia especially. I think Asia wants that championship because after this game, if she knows in the back of her mind that she's dueling with Jackie Young for Finals MVP, and I don't think Jackie Young's gonna get Finals MVP either. Jackie just maybe during this offseason I'll break down Jackie Young's game play for you guys so you can understand why Jackie limits herself and how Jackie limits herself so much. Let me pull up the stats real quick. But Jackie Young limits herself so much. So much. Y'all don't know how much she limits herself. We see the high shooting percentages and stuff like that, but when you see her struggle games, guys, it's just the same. Her struggle games are the same thing she's doing in her games where she's super efficient from the field. Don't get me wrong, a 20-10 zero turnover game, a 30-10 zero turnover game is crazy, but she limits herself so much. And I saw this really in the series against Indiana, and I brought it up. But I'll entering this offseason, I'll do some breakdowns for y'all to see so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But I think Asia now knows, even with the duel for Jackie Young for Finals MVP, she knows she's in great shape to win Finals MVP. So I think Asia is just going to go ahead and gun for that. So expect a game for Asia. I think Asia had 32 or 34 tonight. Expect Asia to come out blasting again, get her Finals MVP, get her another WNBA championship, and with this championship, we might be crowning the next or the GOAT of the WNBA. Asia's closing in on, what was that graphic by SportsCenter on Scott Van Pelt's show? What was that? 3 MVPs with 3 titles in a 4-year span, done twice by Bill Russell in the MNBA and never done before in the WNBA, but with Asia Wilson closing in on it. That would be 3 MVPs and 3 titles in a 4-season span. Excuse me. I saw a tweet that said, if Asia wins this chip, it's time to put her over Prison Bay. Twitter has no chill. Remember when we used to say that? That's an old social media thing. Remember when we said Twitter has no chill? No chill. Instagram got no chill. Epic fail. All right, am I showing my age? Am I showing my age being in my 20s? That's insane. But yeah, I think Aces get the job done. Asia is closing in on... Wow. Asia's closing in on another Finals MVP, so that would give her 3 Finals MVPs, 4 MVPs, 3 DPOYs, 3 WNBA championships. Jeez Louise. And one of her MVPs is unanimous. Sheesh. Shit. I think we're watching the best. And she doing all this with no right hand. She doing all this scared to dribble to her right. This shit crazy, bruh. Oh, let me tell y'all something right now. I'll be real with y'all. I don't know what Bam Adebayo doing. This Ryan Rucco talk about, oh, they're training together, working on their game. Ain't no way. What are y'all doing in that gym? There's no way. Asia's literally scared to go to her right or use her right hand. What are you doing in that gym that she's working on? Please. Bam got her in the gym. you know what? I watch Bam cook in USA 1v1s. There's no way y'all in the gym seriously in the gym together, and you got Asia scared of her. Not saying Bam has Asia, but you don't recognize that Asia literally laments going to her right. Ain't no way, bro. What's the date? What is the date? Like, stop. Bam, stop. What are y'all working on, bro? Asia literally, she'll face up, and if she wants to go, she has every option. If she wants to go left, she can go left. If she wants to go right, she can go right. Sometimes she needs to go right to avoid some of the defenders trying to, double, triple team her. Asia does the same thing. Back down, pity pat, dribble, back down. Not even dribbling the ball in her hand. Fade over the same shoulder. Well, I already told you guys this. Asia doesn't fade going over her right shoulder. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Bam Adebayo and Asia Wilson work out together. Y'all not doing enough. Whoever the hell working with her, you're not doing enough. I can tell you right now, Phoenix Mercury scouting team, they not doing enough. I understand that my Phoenix Mercury prediction is cooked. I don't think any team has ever come back from 3-0 in the WNBA either. So, yeah, that prediction's over with. If I can be blunt with you guys, if I can be super blunt with you guys, if I can be super, super real with y'all. When I came on this channel in the live stream after Phoenix beat the Lynx? Yeah, I think it was after Phoenix beat the Lynx. I made a miscalculation. I made a very big miscalculation that usually I don't make. But I low-key forgot that the Aces had a bigger lineup. So let's not even get into the inverted screens or nothing like that, because I knew Becky Hammon would eventually be ready for it, or eventually have something for it. But understand, one of the reasons I picked Phoenix to win the finals was because I forgot that the Aces don't really have any short guards. Now, Dana Evans, yes, she comes off the bench. Jewel Lloyd, she's seasoned, like she knows what she's doing. I forgot that the Aces, you know who I really forgot about? You know who I seriously forgot about, of why I was just like, oh yeah, Phoenix is going to roll. You know who I forgot? I forgot about Kirsten Bell. Yes, that's right. The same player I just roasted 10 minutes ago. I forgot about Kirsten. I forgot Kirsten Bell was in the lineup. Now, why y'all might be like, oh, why does this matter? What does Kirsten Bell have to do with this? Because Kirsten Bell is no. I'll be real. I'm gonna get negative, but Kirsten Bell, she's just a body out there. She's just a body. Her picking up 6 doesn't necessarily change the dynamic of the Aces. And I completely forgot. So not even thinking about thinking about the inverted screen stuff, but just matchup wise with Phoenix, I forgot that Kirsten Bell is in the Aces starting lineup. And there's not necessarily a downside to her gameplay because you're not expecting anything. So if she hoops, that's a huge plus to the Aces. If she doesn't hoop, well, you would expect that. I completely forgot that she has a zero gravitational pull on the Aces. She's just there. So if you need her to pick up, like, she's one of the players, I don't know what you call it, but I'm thinking about Scary Movie right now. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. If you need her to pick up 6, she'll pick up 6. Because you were going to rotate her out anyway. I completely forgot I completely forgot the Aces starting lineup. Truly, I'm being so honest, and y'all probably understand I'm being real as hell too, because I have no, I don't have no reason to lie about something like this. I just completely forgot the Aces starting lineup, and part of that came from the fact that I told y'all I don't care about their win streak. And during their win streak, who did they have starting? Kirsten Bell, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Asia Wilson, Alyssa Smith. Completely forgot. This is a bigger team. Phoenix isn't going to be able to manipulate that small guard inverted pick and roll because the Aces are just a bigger team. And you have a player on the team that's zero gravity. You got players that can hold their own. I completely forgot, yo. I have to take the L. I have to take the L on that. I feel like if I didn't rush into that damn prediction, if I didn't rush into that damn prediction, I feel like that was my fault. Man, I feel like such a I feel like I did what I told y'all not to do. That's why I actually feel bad about this. I told you guys, don't be fooled by the looks of things. Don't be fooled by the numbers and whatnot. Now, not to say that I was fooled by the looks of anything, but I completely forgot that the Aces match up better with the Phoenix Mercury than any of the teams they played against. So even though maybe the Lynx were the better team and the Lynx probably should have won the series anyway, I forgot that the Lynx have small guards that are attackable. New York has small guards. New York don't even have small guards, so we'll just throw that out the window. New York just ass. We just ass. We just had a bad coach. You know, we didn't even have small guards. It's just that Sabrina's scary. Sabrina's 5'10", 154 wet. She's scary. She's not stepping in front of Alyssa Thomas. There's for the number of times that Sabrina was falling to the floor, you didn't see Dana Evans do none of that. Dana Evans just stepped in. She plucked Alyssa Thomas. And by the way, that pluck on Alyssa Thomas too, that was the same exact steal that Alyssa Thomas had against Fee. Why are the refs calling that? I digress. But you never saw Dana Evans stand there and get rolled over by Alyssa Thomas. Sab just scary. You know what I'm saying? Not even scary. Sab light, boy. I feel like I could bench Sab. Sab light. Sab is light. So New York, we just got rolled over just because. But Lynx were supposed to win that, but they had small guards to attack. I completely forgot, yo. Not even forgot. I just didn't pay attention. I didn't pay attention. So that's my bad. That's my bad because I did say that. Now, even without the inverse screen, the pick and roll, the guard advantage, the matchups, I still did think that Phoenix had a good chance to win the finals. And as we can see in the gameplay, they've had plenty of great chances to win at least a game in the finals. They didn't do it. So prediction was low-key in some ways still strong, but one of the reasons I did not count for the Aces was, one, the holes in their game, especially watching them against Seattle and Indy. I also believe that the Aces shouldn't even have been in the finals. You feel me? I completely overlooked. Now, here's the thing. Here's where I'm not wrong. Here's where my calculation isn't actually kind of off. There can be situations in basketball, just in basketball in general, where you've heard it here first. We talked about this on the channel as well when I was referring to my Celtics and the Denver Nuggets. There are teams that certain teams will play against. Well, let's say, rewind, hold on, reverse the auto. Sometimes there will be sucky teams in a league that for some reason, every time they play some of the best teams, they always whoop that team. It's just like, why is this bottom of the table team always beating up this top name team? Why? And I told you guys, it's usually because that bottom tier team, even though they're ass, usually does something that the top name team or the top of the table team, that bottom team usually excels at something, or usually the weakness that top of the table team has. For instance, this bottom of the table team runs a lot of backdoor cuts, a lot of backdoor off. Like their offense is predicated off of, V cuts and shit like that. And this top of the table team Their weakness, their defensive rating when it comes to guarding an offense with backdoor cuts and V cuts and fakes and feints is literally at the bottom of the table. So their defensive system, their defensive rating for guarding a team that has an offense like this is absolutely trash. Worse than the league. And that is why this bottom of the table team gets to compete with this good team, right? It happens here in the WNBA, and I see your comments. I'll get to it. Sorry, chat. I see your comments, but let me finish this point real quick. It happens. I think it just happened here in the WNBA. So I don't think the Aces were. I don't think the Aces definitely. If they didn't make the finals, I wouldn't have been surprised because there were so many holes in their gameplay. Right? The problem is they're playing a team in the finals that doesn't know how to exploit those weaknesses in their gameplay. You see, the team that they probably played that exploited those weaknesses the most was the Indiana Fever, whom they went 5 games with. So in a way, the Aces are playing a team that they are better than because they were able to squeak by the teams that they weren't necessarily better than. Right. So now here they are about to sweep the Aces. Here they are about to sweep the Mercury. But it's almost as if the Aces aren't even that top. A lot of people are going to look at it and be like, oh, yeah, the Aces, they always been good. Top of the table, 16-game win streak. They're second in the second in the standings. But really, the Aces were supposed to lose. The Aces weren't even supposed to make the finals. They were actually the bottom of the table team. But now they're playing the top of the. Sorry, now they're playing the. Not top of the table, but now they're playing the team that literally doesn't know how to exploit their weaknesses and really doesn't know how to stop their best player. But that's a different conversation. But they're literally playing the team now that has no clue what to do with them, and that's why they're winning. I don't know if all of that made sense, but you're basically looking at the Aces who had a chance of getting knocked out of the playoffs multiple times. I don't think the Aces are the best team in the playoffs. Truly, I don't even think the Aces are the best team in the playoffs. But they've found a way to win, which is why it demands respect. But again, in these finals here, they're just going up against a team that doesn't know what to do with them. To the Mercury, the Aces are this juggernaut. But if you ask the Indiana Fever how they feel about the Aces, hell, you might ask the Seattle Storm how they feel about the Aces. They're just like, they're all right. While Phoenix is just like, fuck, we can't stop this team. You see what I'm saying? So it comes back to the matchups as well, which is I'm defending my prediction right here because even though it in both ways, it still makes me look bad because I couldn't see that. Well, this is part of the reason I told you guys I don't care about the Aces win streak. But part of what's frustrating me is that the matchup problem, yes, but also that I couldn't see that. Not to disrespect the Aces, but that they're failing up. Not that they're not balling, but I'm just using this phrase that they're failing up because they had so many chances where the right team would have kicked them out already. You feel me? The right team would have kicked them out already. But they managed to win. You find a way to win. So really, we're looking at an Aces team that hasn't necessarily been dominant. The Aces are in the finals up 3-0, and this is not even a dominant Aces team. That's the crazy thing. They're dominating the shit out the Mercury. That's facts. But they haven't even been dominant. Went 5 games with the Fever, went 3 games with Seattle. And now they're sweeping in the finals. So again, sometimes it always comes down to the composition of the teams, right? New York should Phoenix have been in the finals. New York should have bounced them out. We should have bounced them out easily, right? But we have our issues. Minnesota probably should be in the finals. But what happens? They allowed Phoenix to get back into it's like both these teams filled up, which is why I think a lot of people were disappointed and why we saw tweets like I want to get to your comments. Hold on. Where we saw tweets like, man, none of this could have happened. I think after game 2, when everyone was just like, oh, the Aces are about to sweep. Man, none of this would have happened if it weren't for if Indiana, if Sorry, if Atlanta just won, if Atlanta just beat the Fever, or none of this would have happened if Fever just clutched up in OT, or hell, I'm still mad at Seattle Storm. So I think a lot of fans recognize that both these teams damn near failed up. And that's not a problem because kudos to the teams that find a way to win. But now when you get into the finals and you clearly have it, when you have a team that's clearly better than the other one, just off of the composition, now everyone's just like, yeah, I knew it was gonna happen because this team is so good. And it's not even the fact that the team is so good. It's just that this team is built better. This team, when you compare this team, when you compare the Mercury and the Aces, the Mercury are just built. Sorry, the Aces are just built better than the Mercury to win the finals. They have more of the boxes checked off. So let's say better coaching, better talent, better vet experience, better players. They have more of those boxes checked than the Mercury. Even though both teams probably should have been out of the finals in the first round. Does it make sense? Not again, this is not no hating or nothing like that. I'm not defending my prediction. Obviously, prediction went out the window. I missed a couple of things, but now that I see it, now that I took a step back and kind of reassessed things and just analyzed things, I realized past the comments, some of the superficial comments we can make just on social media and stuff like that. I think I just broke down how we see these finals and how we see these teams and what is happening in the finals and why we really shouldn't be surprised by that. You feel me? Okay, chat. Let me get to your comments because I know I'm a little bit over time. I guess we'll just make this a 40-minute stream. But Hawk says, I clocked out. The fee-ish pissed me off. Hey, man, if we weren't going to do it, and let's be real, I said we would win 2-1, but I told y'all I didn't have faith in us anyway. If we weren't going to do it, the Lynx should have definitely done it. And notice remember what I said in the last stream? I don't know what it is about these teams where every fourth quarter, the Mercury don't even now. Kalia Copper was getting busy in the fourth quarter. That Hall of Fame dead eye on Jewel Lloyd, crazy. I'm not saying they weren't getting active, but I just found it so weird that these teams would start to fold against the Mercury in the fourth quarter when most of the time in these instances, Phoenix wasn't even doing anything crazy to get back into the game. The other team just wasn't playing. Asia got one shot in the fourth quarter, I think. What does that have to do with Phoenix? That's Asia. Asia was top of the key looking around. I'm like, weren't you attacking DeWanna Bonner earlier? What? You were battling NECA, you were battling Aaliyah, and we don't want to attack DeWanna Bonner. What are we doing? So I just don't understand why teams start folding in the fourth against Phoenix. Now, Minnesota should have been in the finals. Absolutely. I can understand why you're pissed off about it because they were up 14 both games. Game 2, why they have no Alana Smith, co-DPOY. No disrespect. Alana Smith, very underrated, but I don't know. The co shit is kind of stupid. And then you make all defensive first team. Cool. I'm cool with that. The co-DPOY shit is dumb. But, Alana Smith wants to get sidestepped by Sammy Whitcomb. Hawk, suggestion, watch some of the Euro games. I'll be watching Praha. Hawk, I'm going to be watching Praha because, my girl, Michaela Timpson is going to be playing for Praha, which is actually the same team Niara Sabli played for. And I think she's going to make an impact over there in Euro League. I'll watch some Euro League. I'm just going to keep it locked on KK Timpson because I think something's telling me I have this gut feeling that she might get a dunk when she plays over there. So I'll be watching that. Low read, slow feet. The pushing Satu be doing is annoying. The Storm was always sus from the beginning. And the Lynx were a bit soft. Roster construction's a mess. Yeah, a lot of people were calling for the Lynx to get a point guard, outside of Courtney Williams. And I was one of those people last year that said it as well. I didn't say you needed a new point guard. I told Coach Reeve. Some of y'all might remember this stream where I told Coach Reeve, you tell your point guard not to go 1v4 in the clutch. you in the clutch, you down is a minute left. I think you're down two. Courtney Williams takes the ball 80 feet to take a pull-up mid-range jumper against Brianna Stewart with none of her teammates in the front court. I don't know if you need a new point guard, but I think you just need Courtney Williams to not do that. You feel me? So yeah, they could use a new point guard, but I just think it's either, again, you get better externally or you get better internally. Let me check my camera life real quick. All right, we're good to go. I'll run it for about, like I said, 40. We're at 40, so I'll probably do a 45-minute stream. I wanted to respond to your earlier comment. Pushing Satu. Satu did get hurt this game. Yeah, there was. I'm wishing Satu the best. I don't. WNBA just be. Yo, what is going on in these game management, bro? Your player, you had to sit. This is what, again, this shit pulls at my heartstrings, bro, because you can barely get you have a better chance of winning the lottery than getting a job in this economy. And people get these jobs. Satu is down. So at first off, I'm just like, okay, this isn't something she can just, oh, boom, she got clipped in the head by Kirsten Bell's knee. Whiplash type ish too, hard hit. She's still down. I don't even know if I want to get into this, but this towel shit, I get it, but I more so get it for gruesome injuries. The entire time I've been playing basketball, it's always been, oh, move the towels, like don't stand around the player, let the player breathe, get air and stuff like that. Now we got towels all around the player, like limiting their air. I think it's too nuff. Like you're just being too nuff. Like you don't need it for everything. For a gruesome injury, I get it, cool. But I think some of these players doing too much, right? But Satu goes down. She gets concussed. Definitely concussion protocol. They stands up. She tries walking. Legs definitely not under her. It's almost as if she just took a right cross from a fighter. They stand her up. Takes a couple steps. Sit her back down. Where's the stretcher? Where's the wheelchair? Your player is damn near knocked out, concussed. If you can't tell, where's the wheelchair for sure? Where's the stretcher? If you're not gonna get a stretcher, get a wheelchair for her. Why do you have a player that doesn't even have her legs with her? It could be a spinal injury, something like that. Walking off. Granted, walking off on her own power, cool, good to see, but she still doesn't, noodle legged. And you don't have a wheelchair ready to just roll out so she doesn't have to do that? Come on, son. Y'all losing me, bro. We want to blame the W for all these certain things. Like what about that shit? What about the people in that job that clearly see the player hurt? Or maybe they might not even see that the player is like maybe not responsive because y'all all got towels around her. That shit low-key pissed me off. I'm not gonna hold you. This shit low-key pissed me off, bro. There's no reason a concussed player should be walking back like that, especially when we can see from home. She don't have her legs under her. She essentially took a free shot to the face from a professional boxer. Come on, son. That pissed me off, but. To respond to that comment, the Storm winning was sus. Low read, slow feet. To respond to that comment, the Storm was always sus from the beginning. The Storm, I told y'all they had a chance. I thought that series was going to be the upset. That's why I said Storm 2-0, but I did say Storm upset. So I thought that was going to be an upset anyway. It almost was, so don't get on me. I know it was sus. I know it was a tough call, but look at the position Seattle was in. Defensive Player of the Year candidate and first team defense Gabby Williams runs to the other side of the paint trying to help on an Asia Wilson who's already stopped her run, who's already picked up the ball. If Gabby Williams doesn't that's not even a gamble. If Gabby Williams just doesn't run to nowhere, Jackie Young doesn't get that offensive rebound. That's literally Jackie Young got Gabby Williams' defensive rebound. You see what I'm saying? Bruh. A lot of these players, I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but there are a lot of players that will make these lists. I don't know, and we'll get into the awards later, but there are a lot of players that make these lists. Y'all campaign these teams be campaigning them for defensive player of the year and MVP and all-star and stuff like that. And I'm just like, we giving these players all these titles and they don't even know they don't really understand how to play good defense. Especially the defensive side of the ball. They don't even know what they're doing for the most part. A lot of these awards are just based off of the talent and the name. Sometimes the highlights. I don't put it past a lot of WNBA voters that they don't really know what they're doing either. But geez Louise. Yeah, I know it was sus, but the Storm really were in a position, and I actually am working on a video right now for the Seattle Storm's video breakdown for their playoff games, specifically Game 3. But low key, Skylar and Nneka Ogwumike got the coach fired. If Skylar and Nneka don't go 4 of 13 each, I think in Game 3, you're moving on. Now they probably might have gotten dubbed the hell up by the Fever, but at least you would have given yourself a fighting chance. Shit. Anyway, let me see if I can pull up the box score real quick, and then we'll be out of here. My laptop's running hella slow, though. I told y'all 45 minutes. We're a little bit past that, so I don't know if I should do box score or just go ahead and close down. Y'all know what happened. 90-88, Las Vegas. Phoenix Mercury. Asia had 34 points. How many did Jackie have? I'm trying to go off the top. I don't know why my laptop's moving so slow, but it's really making me want to end the live stream. Let me check the camera, make sure everything's good here, because I don't want any interference. Okay, camera's still good, so I'm not sure what the interference would be. I probably do have to invest into OBS a little bit later. That way I can change this green screen to something else too. But yeah, everything's good in terms of the camera. I don't know if this is going to speed up. Hopefully I'm not missing it. Yeah, I guess it's just moving slow. We did lose power over here a couple days ago, so I don't know what my laptop's on. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. Sorry I'm not going over the box score, but I do know final score was 90-88 in Game 3 of the 2025 WNBA Finals. Asia Wilson hits the big shot to go ahead with 0.3 seconds left on the clock. Asia Wilson is heading towards her third Finals MVP. In a season where she won MVP and DPOY again. Asia Wilson, if she wins this chip, and she's in a great position to, do you all think, drop this in the chat, drop this in the comments when this shit posts, do you all think she is the WNBA GOAT? If she wins this chip in Finals MVP. Is she the WNBA GOAT? I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Laptop is already conked out. I'm sorry if I missed any of your chat messages. Tell y'all what, if I do see any chats, any messages that you all leave in chat, I'll respond to it when the live stream uploads, and I'll put it in the comment section and I'll pin it according to the live chat replay. All right, but that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you all coming to chop it up with me, kicking it with me post game. The WNBA still doesn't have a post game finals show where we can watch the press conferences, maybe an inside the WNBA something. We don't even have a post game show for the W. Speaking of which, why don't we have WNBA TV? I feel like that's a perfect channel for something like the WNBA. Take that shit off of the app and put it on TV. So that way, maybe we could go to WNBA TV and watch post game shit instead of just going to YouTube. That's just me. I'm gonna see y'all later. Hopefully y'all have a great rest of your night. I know it's late, so I do appreciate y'all hanging with me on this live stream, chopping it up about sports, engaging with the content. I really do appreciate you all. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Go to the Oktoberfest your city might have. Those are relatively fun. All right. Until next time, I'll see you guys. When I see you guys, take care. Take care. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Been your boy. Peace.